Hello, everyone. Good morning again from my end and happy Tenacious Tuesday. Welcome again to One Global Movement, Speak with Heart, where we are helping our children, women, and young people build on their hopes and dreams. And we are doing so from our hearts. Like Mr. Ashmufara says, uh, we want to uplift humanity, but you cannot uplift humanity without a heart. And that heart means a good heart. You cannot uplift humanity without employing empathy, sympathy, love, and compassion for one another. And that is so true, because when we see what is going on around the world, it is because people have been trained and orientated to not flow with all those tenets of human behavior. And we get that around the world, and people are confused, and they can't eat, they can't even be safe. They can't even have shelter, nothing. They're just put in a state of confusion. And so we here in One Global Movement, we want to be sure that we learn this, and we cannot learn it without teaching ourselves. Sometimes maybe we might think that we are teaching the children. Actually, we are teaching our own self, because these things are things that we are supposed to be teaching ourselves every single day until we even exit the stage of this life. It's so important, because the moment you deviate from those things, then bad things begin to take place. And this is exactly what the children are going to take as well. So this is very important for us. And I want to thank Mr. Ashmufara for bringing us again together. I thank everyone here, the managing director, who is also working to make sure that we are doing the right thing for our children. And I want to thank the 7 women here. 7 to me is a very important number. Very, very important. It's God's number. The number 7 is God's number. And how God brought us together to be 7, it's only Him alone who knows. But 7 of us here are talking, we are thinking, we are doing the same thing with the same mindset, and our goals and our dreams are the same: to empower women and children and young people worldwide, to bring families together, to be sure that we are sharing the love that we were created with other people and these children, to be sure that we do the right thing. And even if we don't do the right thing, we learn and do the right thing for these children, because these children and women are going the wrong way because they did not know better. And because we strive to know better, we want to do better. Our parents did the best that they can do. And now it's our own turn to also do the best that we can do. But we cannot do it without divine intervention. That is absolutely not going to work if we set aside divine intervention. And so One Global Movement is built upon that foundation. This 2 weeks is going to be very, very important. We're starting yesterday, as put forth by United Nations. We want to talk in detail and taking action about eliminating gender-based violence, which we all know mostly affect women and young girls. But nowadays, it affects even men and young boys in particular as well, but more so women. We know that it's been here for generations, and it's even getting worse now. And just think about staying at home and you hear that your child has been brutally abused. How are you going to feel? And this is where we are. And in order to help these children and also helping ourselves, this is what we need to do: putting these things in action, not just talking here. We want to be able to action them out and do it the right way. So yesterday we were talking about the start of the International Day for the Elimination of Gender-Based Violence. We talk about the definition, and we talk about the history and the various forms of gender-based violence that we know and we have seen or we have experienced in our various societies. And so today we are going to take on the next step, and we're just going to do it piecemeal. We're not going to be, so that we want people to understand, because when we understand this and coupled with divine intervention, kids would know how to navigate the world, and we also would know how to navigate the world. We know how to keep ourselves safe, or we know where to report it, or we know what to do, or we know where to turn for help. This is very, very important for us, and this is really the focus. If you think about every other thing, this is really the focus of one global movement right here with this gender-based violence, because in it you have poverty, you have lack of education, you talk about hatred, you talk about oppression. Everything is so embodied in this thing here that we're going to talk about. And so yesterday, thank you, Melanie, so much. Melanie was here yesterday to discuss. She and I had a wonderful
I'm
conversation
sure.
yesterday, and we're going to continue to have these conversations, and we're going to adjust things as we move along, especially as number one, we must stay healthy. Number one, staying healthy, especially mentally. And then when you stay healthy mentally, physically, you'll be okay. We need to take that time to always take care of ourselves and self-heal ourselves, and really take that time, quiet moment, to focus on ourselves so that we can be able to focus on this population, this vulnerable population in the world. I say this with emphasis because I went through what we're treating here. I went through. It's of different degrees, different magnitude. And keep in mind that, as we always say, we're not doctors. We are not medical doctors here. So where anything that we say here is educational. And you can also go to the United Nations website too and also read these things for yourself, because by the grace of God, we're going to be liaising with One Global Movement and with United Nations and other organizations that are out there, so that we can learn more and so we can do better. So today we are Mantle of Hope Revolution Part 263. What are the root causes of gender-based violence? What are the root causes of gender-based violence? We defined it yesterday, but what are the root causes? What makes some people to be physically, verbally, sexually, and in all kinds of ways to be violent towards other people, particularly women and young girls? But we are treating it all, including young boys and men, because nowadays young boys are also victims. Why? What are the root causes of gender based violence is what we're going to be talking about today. And tomorrow we'll continue. Thursday is going to be Thanksgiving in our area in the United States. So join us. It's also Thanksgiving to in my country of birth. So we're going to have fun with that. At least when we do something so focused and something so important and serious, let us also have fun eating our chickens, our turkeys, or eating our rice, jollof rice. Melanie, I know Melanie knows how to cook a good jollof rice better than me, so you're going to be teaching me something. Yes.
Yeah.
So now, no woman or girl should live in fear of violence. None. The United Nations mission is clear: protection, empowerment, and justice for all. This is from United Nations. This is not from us here. And ending gender-based violence is not just about laws. It's about changing hearts and minds of everyone together. We must build a culture of respect, love, and equality for one another, particularly towards our young people. But we can do it without that. We build it among ourselves, we, the parents, the adults, and the caregiver. This is very, very important, because the world is not in a good place with a lot of things. So gender-based violence is a very complex issue as we know it, and it is rooted in a variety of social, economic, cultural, and political factors. We know that the root causes often intersect with one another and reinforce one another, perpetuating cycles of violence. And so when we are talking a lot of things, like, not no one thing can go without the other. So we're going to be repeating things a lot. And so I'm just going to throw this on the floor, sisters. We are the mantles of hope of one global movement. Let's go back and forth, because when we discuss it in a discussion manner or conversational manner, we get to unravel a lot of things instead of just lecturing. This is how people will understand, because we're talking from our different
Absolutely. Yes, I
perspectives.
agree. Hmm.
Let's go ahead and just do what we can do here. Thank you so much for doing that.
Okay, I'd like to start off if you don't mind, sister, because I wasn't
That's
here yesterday. So,
of course.
okay. So, one word, the root cause. I mean, as we said, there are many, right? We won't
Mhm.
exhaust it because it depends on the situation. But the root cause is inequality. That's the
Mhm.
root cause. It's
Yeah.
it's the beginning of that. And in the Bible, the Bible says, "You will hear the cries of the oppressed and the orphans, and you will judge in their favor, so that
Mhm.
mortal men may cause terror no more." And it
Mhm.
doesn't mean we're picking on men. When the
Yes.
Bible says men, it means human beings.
Mhm.
But I say that yes, that is going to happen. But right now, we must also do our part to strive to achieve what the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. advocated for. He says the eradication of injustice everywhere for everyone
Mhm.
without bias. I
Yes.
know that we're speaking of women here, right? But the
Yes.
thing is, we are corrupters of the truth because nowhere, some people have said that the Bible talks about, how to treat women. It doesn't say anything about abuse, doesn't say
Mhm.
anything there about abuse. The
Yep.
Bible is patriarchal, and that's one of the foundation of problems with what we're talking about, the patriarchal society. This system of social organization where men hold primary power and predominate in roles of political leadership, moral authority, social privilege, and control of property is a major, major driver of GBV.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
cannot deny that. But
Yep.
nowhere is it being sanctioned in the Bible.
Yep.
What I'm saying is we have corrupted what the Creator intended. He made us to be equal
Mhm.
beings. As a matter of fact, the only patriarchy I see is where he said that we're the weaker vessels and we should be treated with even more tenderness. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
nowhere is there an excuse for us to be saying that men should mistreat women or any kind of mistreat, right? So
Mhm.
this is not a factual thing. It's a corruption of what is intended. We are equal, right? To
Mhm.
take part in God's great, great, great provision that He's made for all of us. And this attitude perpetuates harmful gender stereotypes and norms that normalize violence against women and girls. So that's
Mhm.
one of the patriarchy, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Sister Melanie, would you like to go or shall I just keep going? Because I can go. This topic really. So please add what you have, my sister.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic when
Isn't it?
you said about inequality, but also the social norm. The social norms is also very important because
Absolutely.
social norms, attitude, and practices that discriminate against and marginalize girls and women perpetuate gender-based violence so much.
Yes.
And
Yes.
these norms socialize men to be aggressive, powerful, and controlling while socializing women to be passive, nurturing, and submissive. This is very dangerous because you find that even educated women are being affected by this gender violence.
Mhm.
I
Yes,
have
of
had
course.
some women who came to me seeking advice, educated women working in the bank, telling me that she is facing sexual abuse with his man. She ended up by divorcing. She divorced, but I was very much touched seeing someone educated who has a degree who can face such challenges. That
Mhm.
shows how the world is very corrupted.
Mhm.
These factors is very important. And the inequality that you are saying, it's very unfortunate that the equality of a man and a woman is not considerable in the world today.
It's
Mhm.
not.
And that equality is not even the gender the the the, the, the gender balance that equality will not even have a meaning if people would understand their role in the family. A man is a
Yes.
man, a woman is a woman. They complete each other if there is an understanding, a collaboration, a communication, or how they are going to lead their homes. This is what is lacking among people. And all this comes around love. Where there is no love, everything is possible.
Yes.
The evil comes in and destroy everything. And you find that education is very important in this matter. Education both for women, men, girls, and boys. Everyone has to understand the impact of this inequality among families. So that to raise awareness should be important to each and everyone. Where there is violence, they should be able to communicate and even to seek help so that these things should stop. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you guys are really, oh my God, I really love it. So when the gender inequality and power imbalance that you guys started with, since I once started, that is the main cause. That is the main cause of everything. It starts from there, and it always starts from the home. When we turn back to our scriptures, God created the woman to be at the side of the man, placed at the side of the man to be the supporter, so that they can walk equally. And God also made it in such a way that, you know, there are certain functions in the home that the man knows better than the woman, and there are certain that the woman knows better than the man, the way God created. We can just really take onto this function with love, support, and integrity. We will not be finding this. You talk about the patriarchy, the patriarchal system. It's so devastating, and it is still going on now. Societies that prioritize male dominance, and control often diminish women's rights and roles, leading to power imbalances. So many power imbalances, not just one. And this happens all the time. All the time. I come from that culture. I come from it. And it led to me not going to school because they wanted me married at the age of 11, a child. And forgetting to know the consequences, the health consequences that come from when you give a child that is not fully developed, a female child that is not fully developed into marriage before they turn 18. What happens? They give birth, but here's what is going to happen later on. Obstetric fistulas, which is a kind of cancer that affects young girls. When they are not fully developed, they start being pregnant and giving birth to babies. And you see these girls, they carry shame in the society, because when that happens, what happens when you have this obstetric fistula, and a lot of them have, there is the poor medical system. They don't have it. Like here in the United States, the medical system will help these young girls, but in countries where they don't have, when they have this, what happens? They start to drain a fluid that smells. When you sit up with people, they start running away from you. They shy away from you, and you carry the shame. And now you already created a psychological, mental health problem for this person that was impregnated, and most often by older men that are not good,
And sister, that just perpetuates the stigma, you see, because I know this is recorded and it's going to look bad, but men already look down on women and they say you're inferior. So when you have that added to you, it just perpetuates this ridiculous notion that we are not equal. And it stems from not respecting the role of each. That's what it is. It's that inequality again, right? And then you talk about the lack of education and awareness. And I know that you're a big proponent of this and you think that, but by now, do you not think that education should be making some inroads into this societal ill, if we want to call it that? I mean, I guess what we need to balance with now is to find out some of the things that are happening. So I will look into that. I know that my talk is tomorrow, but we need to see how it's being balanced, because I think it says it's been 30 years or whatever it is since this particular GBV they've been having the highlighting of it this day. I don't think it's ever been this long. It's 16 days this year, right? From November 25th to the 16th or whatever. the 10th, I believe. It's a long time. So how can we help to make it more visible? What can we do?
There are a lot of things that can be done, but first of all, before we know what can be done, why is it not being done when this has been out there for such a long time?
Right.
We talk about limited awareness. People don't know limited awareness, and then you under limited awareness, you're talking about gender stereotypes in education. Gender stereotypes in education is a problem. We talk about the weak legal system. The authorities, they know. They know it, and yet nothing has really been put so firm in place to really deter this kind of behavior. Because, like I say, sometimes even the crazy man on the street knows wrong from right. They do
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Yeah,
And
they do.
if they put measures in place where you commit such a crime, when they find you and they make sure they follow up, and then they give you the education that you deserve, because it has to be something that goes on here that they don't even know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
They help them, they rehabilitate them, provide them with resources, educate them. They will deviate from this kind of behavior. So with the lack of education, the weak medical system is a problem. So what do you guys think? Isn't that what it is?
Well, of course that's part of it. That is part of it. But look at the other things, as Sister Melanie mentioned. I'm going back to that. The harmful gender norms. Why this? Even if you're not educated or whatever it is, she's talking. She talks about the man and the educated woman and how that situation. And I mean, I know that there are times for doctors, for instance, some of them will ask the woman to put her aspirations on hold, for instance, while she supports him as he goes for his, because a doctorate, a medical doctorate, even other ones, they take a long time, 7 years, and it's always ongoing. But while she does that now, she's now not achieving anything that she wants, right? She's looking after the children if they have them. And that to me is a priority role. If you have them, that's it. But he's not being stunted, if you want to call it, by having children. You know what I mean? His career aspirations going forward, because she's supporting him. She's working in the home, and even if she has another job, it's less quote unquote important or stressful than his. And then he turns around and he leaves her in poverty, and that's now comes thought for abuse, because some men will say that they don't want a woman with children. Let me tell you something. I don't know how we can untangle this. They will say they don't want a woman with children, and they will treat her badly and treat her children badly. And so I'm not even talking about the war that causes this this abuse. I'm talking about right here in real homes, stately homes, where women are being abused and put down and treated badly simply because you talk about the education. They don't have it, right? And the man will think, I'm somebody and you are not.
Yep.
And so there's a right to treat you bad. That is happening
Yeah,
here.
it's happening even right now. Everywhere it's happening. Like I've seen situations where even when you do have that education, your education becomes a threat to the man because you're a woman.
That's the
You
other
are
side
a
of that.
woman.
Yes.
They will
Yes.
tell you in your face. Even me, they've told me you're never going to have any man who wants to marry you because men don't like. Those are all myths. But for people who understand, they will know that, you know what, education is so important. Some will even tell you,
Yes.
I'm the man. I'm the one who stands up to pee. What does that mean? If you stand up, that's the way God made you to stand up to pee. So what does that mean? So a lot of things. Okay, look at the young girls that are being sexually abused. When these young girls are pregnant, the young men continue to go them to school. You, the young girl,
Yes.
most parents, they are so mad that you even got pregnant in the first place, they will take you out of school. And
Yes.
now
Yeah.
education in a lot of cases is over. And now you're being stigmatized, you're being put to shame. They tell you you had a child you out of wedlock. That is so poor. And then you bring this child down, and this child is going to breastfeed this little baby, and this thing will continue. The circle continues just like that. So,
Yes.
so really, really, education is not just classroom education. The real education on this
Yeah.
issue is what we are really talking about here, you know.
Yes, yes.
And we call on the men to join in this education. We cannot do it by ourselves.
Well, it will not be resolved without their input. It cannot be because it's not a one-sided thing. It takes
Yeah.
a perpetrator and the one perpetrated against. So the
Mhm.
equality has to meet in the middle. The education has to meet in the middle. We talk about social and cultural factors, like you were mentioning there, Sister Mundih. Certain cultural
Mhm.
practices such as early marriage, female genital mutilation,
There you
and
go.
honor killings can increase the risk of GBV
Mhm.
because people think it becomes normal for them. Additionally, social norms that tolerate or condone violence can create an environment where perpetrators feel emboldened. You know, people
Mhm.
have left other countries to go to other countries to carry out these atrocities because it happens here in Canada. I know for a fact. We see it
Mhm.
in the news. People come here with their honor killings.
Mhm. It
They're
happened.
emboldened to come across the ocean, take a flight, come here, and kill somebody who's escaped their power.
Yep. It
Mm.
It's
happens.
a very pervasive and huge societal injustice.
Mhm.
People are actually losing their lives over this. So how
Mhm.
can we make women safe? What is it that we can do? And not everything takes just money. I mean, the money is there, obviously, as I'm always saying. It's the
Yep.
will, because this problem is not a big thing on this political stage, it looks like, even though now we have this 16 days of this.
Mhm.
You would think everybody in the whole wide world who can think would become aware of this and saying, no, this has to be addressed, right?
Mhm.
But after these 16 days, are we going to just go back to say, oh, then there is the conflict and crisis, war displacement, and natural disasters can disrupt social structures and increase the risk of GBV
Mhm.
as traditional mechanisms of protection and support break down. Now, isn't that true?
It
When
is.
you have a war-torn
It is
country,
true.
this
It
is
is
not in
so
place anymore.
true. And that contributes even the worst part because in the midst of the war, chaos, confusion is caused.
Yes,
These women and young girls are raped even more.
in the
Even
refugees camp, I hear it.
yes, they are
No,
raped even more. Refugee camp, yeah. A lot of kids are born in the refugee camps. And they are grown up men. When will this ever stop? Sometimes I want to shout out in tears because it's not supposed to be. It's happening. It happens even in my village. I've seen it. I have seen it. You know, my only I'm so grateful that I did not have to go through sexual violence because you should see, even raping a little girl up to the extent of killing that little girl. What
yes, I
for?
know. I know.
Even a baby. Why?
Yes,
Why?
yes.
What can we do? What can we do?
Well, I do hope this 16 days will have a little bit more push forward because remember when I first sent you this information, it says that every 10 minutes a woman is killed, right? Because of this situation here.
Mhm.
And then I was reading the latest update and it says every 11 minutes. So I'm not sure if I should take that to mean, there's a little bit of, forward movement because 10 is 11 minute later thing. So the statistics is seeming to say that it's going down. But I hope that's true, sister. But we need to go down faster than that because
Mhm.
every 10
Mm.
minutes,
Yes. One thing that I was thinking, we're going to liaise with United Nations, and sometimes
yes,
they have trainings that they can give.
yes, yes,
7 of us here, they train us, and they can also support us in ways that we can continue to spread this education and reach out to
yes, pamphlets,
yes.
posters, whatever we can use, because
We're going
you're
to
going to have a static place that you
yes,
can put things up. It will be your place, so you can put up what you want there,
yes,
right? So
yes,
then, where anywhere we can make it more, not just for 16 days or 10 days, all year round until we hear that it's changing.
yes. I started by doing research. I have a template. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I'll give it to somebody to take a look at it. A template
sure.
that will be like the mantle, part of the mantle of one global movement that is going to be here and it's going to
Yes.
be here for life. And but I
Okay.
wanna because I really don't understand these things, especially the high technology. So I'm going to try to pass it on to somebody who can really help us with that. We need to continue to do this, but
So it's okay. You don't just need proofing and editing. You need technical
yes, I will
know-how.
send it to you for proofreading when everything is done,
Okay.
and then you we can also I will send it to everyone. Maybe we can add our own ideas there too because the goal is to get a variety. So that if
Yes.
they don't understand it this way, they'll understand it the other way, just like we are doing here, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
it is just so heartbreaking to see what women and young children go, even in our societies, you know. Violence is encouraged. Is encouraged as a way of making somebody to be submissive. They say yes, societal acceptance of violence as a means to resolve conflicts or
Yes.
maintain control
Yes. Yes. Yes.
reinforces abusive behavior. And
Yes, it does.
in where now in my culture, they have abused the bride price. We know that, Melanie, because you come from the same culture like me. The bride price, culturally, which is something that they've practiced for more than 500 years, it is a protective covering for the bride, for the woman.
Okay.
Is
Mm-hmm.
who can buy a human being? Can anybody buy a human being in this
No,
life?
no,
So
no.
the bride price is there uh, to cover the woman from abuse. Because
Mm.
and
Yes.
then we know that physically the woman is not so powerful like the man, right?
Yes, yes.
So they say, okay, we need this, we need this, we need. In some places they will say they exaggerate it. They can say 1 cow or less, but for my own culture, they will tell you come and give a token something, because
Mm.
make sure that you treat her well, treat her like a queen, no abuse, no beatings. What the culture does is they make sure before you go to your husband's place, which is a traditional rite that they perform, you have the bed, you have the pot, you have your clothing, you have
Mm-hmm.
money to start a business, to start life with, and money, not just like $400 is a lot of money.
It
And
is.
then they will give you animals, spoons for everything that you need for your life and for your home. They give it
Mm.
to you. And so that the man will not, because sometimes when the man doesn't have money to buy those things, they will take it onto the woman, right? So they
Yes.
divert those things that way, and they make sure. From in some of my our own cases, the parents, the father will say, because the bride price is given to the father to then share with the family, and then they will give some to the a little something to the aunties and the uncles as a blessing, so that they will bless. It's a traditional right. So
Yes.
when they do that, they want to make sure that the woman and her children, or all the children, are going to be treated with dignity and respect. But
Yes.
a lot of
Yes.
people, because of the way that the world is going, they don't have money for this. When somebody comes to marry their daughter now, they say you have to give this a lot of
It's
times.
so much more. Yes.
Men
Mm-hmm.
will pay it, but then they will take it onto the woman. When the woman does something, they will beat you. I pay this amount of money. You are my property. I own you. I this. So
Yes.
it is.
Sister, I understand it's a culture, but even that, you see, even that is making the woman less, don't you
Mhm.
think? Because if
Yes.
she has to come with payment, that's what it is, right?
Mhm.
Why isn't the man like, I mean, if he can't afford a wife, he should not have a wife. Like, really? I'm sorry. I know it's your culture, but that starts in a position of inequality. Why is he so great that you have to pay to get him? That's how I look at it. You have to pay to
Yeah,
have him. And I
yeah.
understand
The
what
thing
you're
is,
saying.
they don't call it payment. It
I
is
know they don't
that
call it
for us,
payment.
it's something they live. You do not touch this person. You don't abuse this
It's a
person.
protection then. It's
It's a
protection then.
protection. That's why I say it's a covering. It's a protection.
The
You,
covering.
it's not
Okay, I
like
got
you're
that.
paying, because nobody can ever pay to buy a human being.
No,
But they
you really can't.
abuse it now. They abuse it
Making
because
it higher and higher and
it
higher
is
for their
the
own
dominance
purposes.
of power, where they train the man. You have to be this. You can't do the dishes. You can't help to do laundry. You can't do this. It's all for the woman. The woman working, 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 taking care of the children, taking care of the home cooking. In the end, they get so tired, and
Of
they
course.
cannot even
Mm.
function well, and they can't even concentrate because they're tired, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
they're abusing everything. And with the corruption in the world, they were doing this together with the chieftaincy. Nobody dare bypass that. But everywhere is corruption now, and everything.
It's just different forms, sister. I mean, I agree. I understand what you were saying because there's nothing wrong with cultural norms when they are respected and equitable, right?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with them because, I mean, from what you're saying, it's not a payment, it's a protection, a
There's
covering. And
nothing wrong even with the legal system or the any system in the world, so long as it is respected There is nothing wrong.
Nothing.
Don't use it against the other person
One
and
gender and the other. Yes,
even on
exactly.
in employment. Imagine employment. This in certain jobs they pay the man. Even everywhere in the world they pay the man better than they pay the woman, giving the man the power
Absolutely.
to think
Absolutely.
that they are
Yes.
superior over the
Yes.
woman.
Yep.
It's
And
such
that's another thing that is causing a men a lot of frustrations because they adamantly are opposed to having females make the same. But if you're doing the same job and doing it to the high standard, why wouldn't you take home the same pay? I don't understand the argument. What is the argument against that? What is it? Because women will now have independence. Isn't that the problem?
Yes, yes. They don't want to. Here's the thing too, but in some areas, I say it's a cowardice because if you don't want this woman to have self-independence, and therefore means you don't even see you are not an independent being, because if you are independent with love, you want to be able to give independence to another
If
person.
you're threatened by my independence,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So you give because you're teaching. What are you teaching your children? So you're going to be
Exactly.
teaching your boy children differently from the girl children. Then
Yes.
you continue to really widen this kind of divide, abuse, and violence in society that we
Absolutely.
are trying
Absolutely.
to do here. So financial independence, economic reliance on an abusive partner, when you don't let your wife to be educated or your daughter to be educated, and they cannot be self-sufficient and self-independent, what happens? When they marry, they have to rely on those men, and in turn, it will reduce options for escaping violence because you are depending on this person to eat, to groom yourself, to even buy, even I would say it in raw terms, your pad that you use, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When you depend on somebody like that, they get tired. Do you even know if that person is going to be there tomorrow? So why don't we educate both boys and girls to become self-reliant and independent without dependency? The spirit of dependency is killing the world, and the spirit
Yes.
of dependency, it's a kind of tool that people use to manipulate. You know, when they give you
Mm-hmm.
something and tomorrow is not there, what happens? What
Yes,
happens?
that's a psychological tool. This dominance of another person because you're feeling less than yourself. That is the
Mhm.
only reason why that happens, right? When you don't feel that you are, as you say, an autonomous, empowered being, then you look for other people, and of course, it happens with other spaces as well. That's why slavery. That's why all kinds of things happen, right?
Yes, yes. You
Bullying.
you're talking about
Those.
media perpetration of a stereotype, media that glorifies violence or
Yes.
objectify women.
Objectifying
We
women.
see,
Yes.
we see we see films, we see all those things. How would you expect a child, a baby that is born, growing up watching those? And what is they going to do? They're going to do the
Yes.
same thing. You know,
Exactly. So
this
yes.
due to societal this and disintegration and more violence and whatever. So we need to start it. And if we start it from our homes with the education, educating our children, when they go out there, they're going to see something. They'll quickly know that this thing is not normal. What can I do for myself? And let us keep doing what we are doing. And really,
Mhm.
education is the key, making sure that these kids know that they have greatness within them, that
Yes.
they have every opportunity, every right to do as they can do, not to
Yes.
be limited, to be relegated to the background just because they are
Yes.
female.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
there is a lot to do concerning this matter. When you talk about dependency, when it comes to our societies, it's very dangerous. It's
Very.
very dangerous because you find that this cultural factor affects more women than men
Of course.
because it legitimates violence to ensure dominance and superiority of men over women.
Mhm.
And it is really, really common in our society, such as you find that sexuality ties to the concept of so-called family honor in many societies. And
Mm.
you find that traditional norms in these societies allows the killing of women suspected of defiling the honor
Yes.
of the family by indulging the forbidding sex or marrying and divorcing without consent of the family. So you
Mm.
see, well, it means that there is something that brings you to be attached to the family. You are not independent to take decision, even though you see that something is going wrong on you. You don't have that freedom to say what you are seeing and even ask to stop that, to prevent that. And I think there is a lot of to do in this topic. As Sister Yvonne was saying, for me, I don't know what to do. There is a lot to do because this matter, the United, the UN organization, they have been working a lot on this matter. But still you find that as time goes on, violence continues. It becomes more and more all over the world.
It does.
So it is something that societies should stand up and see how we can fight against this violence, at least to prevent it or to continue increasing, because it affects more our children.
Yes, it does. And I mean, then you come to the point now where you're just kind of leading to, Sister Melanie. It says the legal inequality. In some societies, I think it's probably all, in some societies, laws and legal systems may discriminate against women, making it difficult for them to seek justice and protection. Often women are ridiculed. And even if they believe, even if the people in charge, I'm not going to say what gender, but even if they're the ones in power, even if they believe you, they sometimes think, so what? That is the worst. So it's adding insult to injury, right? If you're brave enough to go and we report that, if you're in a society where that's even possible, then, the lawyers, the legal system sometimes try to diminish and denigrate the victim, and then the case goes nowhere. We've seen that.
I've been a witness of that.
So it's anywhere you run down all of these things, the patriarchy, right? The harmful gender norms, the economic inequality, the social and cultural factors, the conflict, and then we come to the legal system. So what? Where do we turn, women?
The thing is, because some of the leaders, I should say, even parents, caregivers, they are involved in these things. And when this happens, it does not get anywhere. We need to keep advocating as one global movement, keep advocating for laws that will sanction everyone, regardless. Somebody's position in society doesn't have to exonerate them from abusive behavior.
It should not.
So we promote gender equality and challenge harmful behaviors. And we cannot just challenge them like that. We have to put tools in place, because when you challenge something, taking case for a child that has been sold out for prostitution to go and work money and come and feed the family, if we don't put tools, like economic tools in place to help these children, I don't think that they're going to because they have to eat. Their families have to eat. The situation in which their families are, we don't know, especially in a situation of war or somebody's escaping or something. So it is so, and then we have to try to petition or write something so that the legal system can be strengthened. We keep crying like women that are crying for their children. The legal system can be, and then we empower women and marginalized groups, all the women, children, young people that have been marginalized through education and economic opportunities. We can do something for them. Little by little, they will know that there is hope somewhere. There is actually hope.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you, sister. And so I was looking at a comment by our sister Rachel, Kanla Rachel, who's joined us today. So you'll probably be reading those. Did you read yesterday, or are you doing that still, or what's the up to it?
I did some yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah.
So
she's made a very good point there. So we would like to hear it all. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we should just go and appreciate the audience. And if you guys think about any other thing, this is a discussion forum, and so we can go ahead and keep because we need to dig our heels in and see what can be done to women and children.
Absolutely.
Sister Sharon, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for the beautiful graphics that you're making for us. And
thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you. And of course, when she's here, we are rest assured that we're going to have a happy birthday to everyone who is celebrating their birthday.
Yes.
And we are sending prayers also to those who need it
Who
right
need it right now?
now,
Amen. Thank you, sister.
Yes.
Yes.
especially during this time in the history of the lives of our children and women. So thank you so much. And then she's also sending virtual
Yes,
hugs.
to anyone who need it right now. Oh, thank you,
Right
sister.
now. Thank you.
Who doesn't need a hug, right? We all need hugs.
Of course. And our managing director is always here to welcome everyone to One Global Movement. Speak with heart.
Thank you, John.
What are the root causes of gender-based violence? Thank you. And let's go down here. We have, uh, of course, Sister Candla. Thank you so much for joining us here. I highly appreciate your efforts. We are in this together. Women all over the world. Women are the center, they're the foundation of every home. If we come together, we will be able to really really eliminate or maybe close the gap of
Yes,
gender-based violence
absolutely.
against women and
Yes.
children,
Yes.
right? If
Yes.
we all come together with
Mhm.
love, integrity, and honesty and safety, we will do better together. Forgetting about any other thing, because this is what we need: supporting women, supporting one another for the betterment of our children and society.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Amen.
I appreciate you for being here today, and we love you. And we have our beautiful girl, Otampa Pri. How are you? Thank you so much. And we miss you, but you're here with that beautiful smile. Thank you so much for being here. And special greetings to Sister Kanla from Sister Yvonne. And thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Certainly, we do. And we have Anita Frenshaw. How are you, Anita? Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank
We
you,
highly
Anita.
appreciate you. Come again. And this is a plea and a campaign for everyone in the world, every
Mhm.
family, men, women, particularly the women. Let us pull our men in together. Let us pull our
Mhm.
Sharon is here. And welcome, Sister Sharon.
Wow. Hello, Sister Sharon. Welcome.
Let us pull our
Hello, hello. Yes, hello,
Hello.
everybody.
Hi.
Hi, my
Hello.
beautiful sisters. How are you doing today? Sorry I'm late.
We're
that's okay.
good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Well, I'm not feeling well, but I made it. Excuse
We're
me,
glad
as
to
you could
hear.
probably hear it in my voice. And
Yes.
I'm not that well, but I really wanted to be on this
Mhm.
because it's very important. Thank you so much, ladies,
Yeah.
for this topic. This is a great topic that we need to speak out and speak up about. So
Mhm.
that is great. Don't let me interrupt. Carry on, and I'll speak when I get a chance. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Yes, what I
sister.
was saying is we know that nobody's an island upon themselves. No one.
Right. No
No
one.
matter how intelligent you are, if you care, you can have 20 PhDs. The PhD is not the rule of nature at all. It's not the rule of nature. The rule of nature, it's moral behavior, high ethical standards. The love
Yes.
that we carry within us, the love that we were created with, that we were given an assignment to take care of the precious little ones. That is the kind of education that we are talking about.
Yes.
Because if we do not do this, we must have failed our children. Why are we even having children in the first place if we know that we could not take care of these children? So
Mhm.
we are calling upon each and every one around the world to hear us here, these 7 women that have devoted their lives to serving women and children, because we know that if you serve a woman and a child, you have automatically served the whole family. So we call upon one another, do it in your own little way, and let us carry our conversation. Hop onto this panel here at any time that you want, not just
Mhm.
because you have to be a woman. No, be here. Behind every woman, like they say, behind every man, there is a powerful one. Behind every woman
Woman.
has to be a
There
protecting
is a
man
powerful
and a
woman.
Why not
powerful
beside each other?
yes.
Why not
Go like
beside each
yes,
other?
walking, and we are helping one another so that to make sure that if you want to fall, I'll catch you quickly. And if I want to fall, you should be able to catch me. We are brothers and
Absolutely.
sisters, we are husbands and wives, we are uncles and aunties. So let us do the best thing. And it is
Yes.
simple. Let us the best thing, God created the world so simple.
You did.
Not the way that we complicate. We human beings are the problem of the world. We complicate the
Yes.
world. If you see
Yes.
some of the videos that I post, you see the animals eating together. They are not, they are
Yes.
different species. They are
And
eating
they eat it
together. They are
together.
they are playing together. Even why are we complicating life? We complicate life. We're complicating it for our own self first, not for any other person. So let's do
Yes,
something.
absolutely, my sister. Mhm.
Yes. And our sister here says, I appreciate the entire leadership of this platform. Great topic. Thank you so much, sister. That really inspires us a lot. And
Yes,
we
it
have
does.
our beautiful sister, Cheryl Best, as always, supporting women and children,
Yeah.
families worldwide. And our brother, Ashok Kumar. Thank you so much, brother, for your determination and your love for supporting children and women worldwide and for supporting families. And thanks for supporting even your own family as well. So
Mhm.
go down here and our sister will need to say something. Yeah, and she ought to say something, of course. And John, thank you so much for this. And I'm not going to be able to read this because I'm here, but I'm not feeling well. My throat is funny, and a lot of other things are not going well. Thank you so much for always doing that. And we have Washim Saki. How are you, Wasim? We miss you, but thank you. You are here, and I know that you're doing great things for yourself and your family and your community. Thank you so much. And Sister Kanla says the root cause of violence is a combination of factors, beginning with losing our humanity,
Yes,
Yes, that's
God's
true.
love
yes.
of self and your neighbors like yourself. Sister Yvonne said it. Everything rests on this. This is
Of
so
course
true.
it does. Of
It
course it
does.
does. Yes.
It rests on our creation, our creator. Who are you? Why were you created? What is your purpose? What are you doing or
Mhm.
where are you going with that purpose? It is the basis of helping and eliminating everything that is not God made. Thank you so
Yes.
much for emphasizing on that, Sister Kanda. And she says again that how about the system or structure using women of power and and affluence to bring other women to submission control? The solution will be women's solidarity in a common goal to stop violence. A
That's a
woman,
good
Sure.
idea.
Yes.
Yes.
sisters
Yes.
for sisters, a woman
Yes.
to woman, together
Yes.
we can really do this. Thank you so much because we
Yes.
see it's all politics. The women, those that are women of affluence, like you say, they're being used as tools to also get to other women to bring them to submission. That's what we see all around the world. And
Yeah.
because of that, we mothers, aunties, sisters, we've decided that we will stick together for the common purpose of humanity. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Folks, I want to see more people here, a lot of our regulars. And please, folks, spread the word, share OGM link, bring someone here with you. That's okay, John. Sometimes they have to focus on families too, as well, and all
Yes.
self.
Yes.
So when they are able to come, that is very good. Thank you so much for really reminding them. We have David Doug Passive Roselski. How are you, David? Thank you so much. John Barilla, I'm here, just busy and just listening today. Thank you so much for support. Listening is also a tool. Thank you so much
Yes.
for doing
It
that.
is.
And here we go. And, we cannot just be talking without action. If you're here, One Global Movement is not for Mundih. It's not for Sister Yvonne. It's not for Sister Sharon. It's not for Sister Melanie. It is for women and children and young people of the world. We are merely servants here, just like we are servants to our children. We want the best. If you want something, take action. And the least action you can take is to go on One Global Movement Facebook page and like it and follow. And you can also go on YouTube. You go and subscribe. You put the big thumbs up and you turn on the notification bell so that you can get this. This is Academy already here in place. And
Yes.
instead of letting our children or we ourselves are watching the negative news or watching things that are not good for our eyes, our psyche and our bodies, we really sit down and watch these things from One Global Mind. When you watch it, be sure to ask a question. Be sure to leave a comment because when you do that, those are the things that we will go back and it will help us to continue to help children because we are also learning and learning to help. We don't know everything here. And so we encourage each and every one, particularly our men, stand behind us. And if we are here and some of us are practicing this kind of behavior, it is time to call it quits. It is time not to do it because you are hurting children, you are hurting women. We need to quit it because we cannot say that we are here from unpassive to uplift humanity, yet
Mhm.
we are doing something opposite to what Mr. Ashmufara brought us together to do. Let
Absolutely.
us do the best. And David says here that, my opinion, the root cause of violence is ignorance or being spoiled. You can't articulate
Mhm.
or support your position. It frustrates you to a point that you need to do something. Many resorts to violence. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's one of it. Yes, that's
One
true.
of them. Thank you so
Mhm.
much, David, for your contribution. Sister Sharon, if you have anything, which I know you do, go ahead.
Excuse me. Well, hello, everybody. Once again, greetings from Canada. Excuse me. Sorry for my voice, so you can hear it, that I'm suffering from a head cold. Let me just clear my throat.
Go
First of
ahead.
all, before I get started, you know what I'm going to say? Hit us up in the chat, leave us a message. Please hit that like button and don't forget to ring that bell so you get all the notifications.
Mhm.
Thank you. Always have to say that first. Wow. Again, thank you so much for this topic. This is a very, very important topic, and it's something that we need to talk about more often. And it's not, it's good that we have a group chat and that everybody's involved. And, we're talking about the root cause of this gender violence, gender-based violence. And, I'm pretty sure that you guys covered most of the causes and that. And I just want to make sure that we also know that it's also drugs and substance abuse. That has a lot to do with it. I'm not sure if anyone's mentioned that. And
No.
also financial, money. It has a lot to do, like, there's a lot of stress on money, especially in couples,
Mhm.
married couples, like, they fight a lot over money and that. And then also, uh, what's that? P When people suffer from not PC, what's it called?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
That's it.
Yes. Yes.
And that's really tough, especially people that are veterans, and that a lot of them come home and they
Yes.
abuse
Yes.
their
Yes.
wives, and because they're in a different headspace when they come home, they're
That's
not the
right.
same. They
Yes.
come home and they're different, and
Yes.
and it's really hard for not only them, it's hard for the whole family, and they get angry and they act out, and
Absolutely.
I have seen and heard some really horror stories
So am
about
I.
that.
Yes.
Not only that they harm their wife, they harm their children. So that
Yes.
is really, really scary. And also, I just want to say as well that, it's girls, boys, women, and men that suffer from excuse me, from gender violence, and it's really, really bad. And when it comes to men, especially, with men, you don't hear as much about it as with women. I believe with women, first of all, it's higher. It's not the same. They like to say that it's the same. It's not the same. It's like 1 in 3 women to like
Ye-
1 in 6 or 7 men
Yes.
that suffer from gender-based violence. And with the men, again, they tend to stay silent. They tend not to speak out. I
Mhm.
remember years ago, when I was growing up, I was a kid, and I watched this movie. This might have been late 70s, early 80s. And it was a movie about a man that was being abused by his
Abuse.
wife.
Mm.
And there was no place for him to go. And he
Yes.
was embarrassed, and he didn't know who to talk to. And he used the same excuse that a woman would use. Like, he would have a bruise on his face or something, and he'd be like, "Oh, I fell down the stairs. Oh, this hit me." He'd make up excuses because he didn't know. He didn't think anybody would believe him. And,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, sure, your wife beat you up." And two, he was a good man. He didn't strike back. He didn't harm back, and he tried his best to come. So I remember this movie, because it was different. Like, you never seen anything like this before, and I was really
Mhm.
glad that they made this movie. I'm sorry I can't remember the name of the movie, because again, it was a very old movie, and I
Mhm.
remember he was trying to find help, and so he found the phone number for the battered women's hotline, and he called that number hoping that they could help him as well, or give him, give him a number that he can call. They laughed at him. They
Oh,
thought it was a joke, and they hung up on him.
oh no.
So it ended up that later on he finally got himself a lawyer because she started hitting the children. And so therefore he started to speak up more, and he called the police. The police laughed at him too. So he called the police, and then he finally got himself a lawyer and took his wife to court and got custody of his children.
Right.
So I just want to say that it's really, really hard for men, and men get raped too. And,
Yep.
and people don't believe, like, yeah, sure, how can you rape a man? You know what I mean? If it goes up, they're willing. Like, no, it happens. Yes, with them, all it takes is a little breeze, and that's it. And they can't control that. You know what I mean? But it does happen, and that's
Yeah.
really, 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 really sad.
Mhm.
So when it comes to um, your friends or somebody that that comes and talks to you about that they were hit, they were abused. Wives get raped all the time from their husband. They say no to their husband, and their husband is the type of man that is controlling and abusing. He's just going to take it, and the woman feels bad and guilty. And the best thing we can do is to, if someone comes to you and wants to talk to you about what's going on in their life, please don't judge them. Please don't judge them. Please listen to them. Be sympathetic. Try to understand, and give them a safe place to come and talk to. Have somebody that can. Everybody needs somebody sometimes, and I have myself have helped a lot of battered women. And some of them, I told them, like, some of them, when I met them and I knew that they're in that relationship, or I thought they might have been in that relationship, I would let them know eventually where I lived, and tell them, never ever tell your husband where I live, so that you always have a safe place to run to.
Yes.
Like, they need a safe place. We need to pass no judgment on them, and just like I said, just listen to them. If they, a lot of times they need someone to talk to, and a lot of times they're just going to go back to the abuser. But at least you tried, and at least they know that they have a place to go to. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is calling 911, calling the police. Now, our police officers, they can do more. And in Canada alone, and again, I'm going to go back years ago. I can't remember when it was. I think it was like the late 80s. But in Canada, for one, on behalf of the police officers, when they get a call that's a domestic call, it's one of the scariest calls that they could get, because they don't have a clue what they're running into. They don't know if they're going into, someone that has a weapon. They could be guns, it could be knives, it could be just somebody being held hostage, it could be just a regular argument or abuse. They don't know. So that's really scary for them to walk into it. And in Canada, years ago, when you would call the police, or the wife or the girlfriend would call the police and saying that they're being abused or they've just been beat up, they would go to the house and they would see evidence that, yes, this woman has bruises on her face, or she has a black eye, or whatever the case may be. And the police officer would take the man outside and talk to the man and talk to the woman, and then ask the woman if you'd like to press charges. And 9 out of 10 times the woman would say no.
Yeah. I know.
And the police officers, they knew that, they're probably going to get a call again. And they just hope that the next call, they don't have to call in homicide. Because a lot of women died from being beaten by their man.
Yeah.
So I believe, again, this was like the late 80s that law changed. And it changed for the better. It changed so that women cannot just call and complain about something, and that the man just gets a slap in the wrist, or they would get charged. The women would press charges, and then either A, not show up at court, or B, just drop the charges. So when they changed the law, so that a police officer can go in and analyze the scene, take care and protect the woman, and also take the man outside like they normally would do. One police officer would talk to the man, and another one would talk to the woman, and they would talk to them individually. And all they had to hear is the man. All he had to say was, "Yeah, well, I shoved her and because she was getting off to me and she just went. I just pressed her down." That was enough for them to be able to press charges that would stick.
Yes.
And that was very important. That was a good law, and I was so glad that they passed that law, because like I said, I've helped a lot of women like that would run to me and I would call the police, and they would do the same thing. "Oh no, I'm not going to press charges," and I'd be like, "Why do you come running to me? Come running to me. I give you clean clothes. I wipe the blood off your face, and then what? You're going to go back to him? Like that's just wrong. And it's really, really scary that guys do that." And just one other quick story regarding, another cause is, it could be, and you guys probably talked about this, it could be the way you're raised, the country that you came from. I was in court for another case, trying to help somebody else out. And while I was in there, I like listening. I don't know why, but I like to go in different courtrooms while I'm waiting to listen to other cases. And as I was doing that, I seen this beautiful East Indian woman that was there, and she had bruises on her face, and she was really upset, and she was alone, and she was scared, and she had nobody, and her husband beat her up and was trying to take her child away from her. And she had no family here. It was just his family, and they all ganged up on her. And she didn't she didn't know her rights. And I'm like, "I don't know what the rights are where you're from." I said, "But in Canada," I said, "women have rights." And I spend like 2 hours, the next 2 hours, getting her a lawyer, telling her rights, giving her hugs, crying with her. And I just took care of her and gave her all her. I'm making phone calls and everything like that. And the person I'm with are like trying to call me and that. I'm like, "Look, I'm busy right in a moment. I'll be there when I can be there. But don't worry, I'm coming back to you. But I need to help this lady." And I helped her and got her a lawyer and everything, like I said, and gave her my phone number and said, "Look, if you ever need to talk or you need someplace to run and hide," I said, "Put this number safely or memorize it and throw it away." I said, "And you can always talk to me and call me." Well, her mother, a week later, her mother calls me from Ottawa, and she called me to thank me. She called me an angel, and I want to cry because it was a very emotional conversation that I had with her mom, and she was just so happy and so grateful that her daughter had somebody there to help her. So
that's what you're saying we need to do, Sister Sharon. We have to do it. I'm sorry, you're saying we have to do it at a grassroots level, right? I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's what you're saying. We can't wait for the big, it's not going to be all of a sudden just wiped out in one legal move. It's us paying attention and giving that support that you're saying. And it doesn't always end like that, because what you said, some women do go back and go back and go back for whatever reason. So there's a psychological reason for that as well. And as Sister Mundih started off by saying, we're not medical professionals here. We cannot give any professional advice on that thing. But I love what you're saying when those stories end up, because that's where it starts. We cannot eradicate it overnight in one fell swoop. We have to be boots on the ground, just like you are.
Yep.
Exactly. And you got to do what you can when you can, like you can't do everything. And like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a human being with a big heart. And I will not sit back and watch somebody get hurt. Like, I'm getting very emotional just even talking about them.
I want to thank you, Sister Sharon, because what you just said, like we started from the beginning, it's more towards women or young girls, but boys and men are also included. I have been a witness where a woman here in the United States, not so long ago, and I know that this family beat the husband all the time. And because of his background or how he was raised, the man refused to admit it. But it came to the point where he was so hit that he couldn't see. But it is the children then called the police. The police came and said, "What is going on here?" And the kids say, "Mommy beat my daddy, and mommy has been beating my daddy all the time." And that is when action was taken. And I also want to let us know that, like you said, some of the police officers don't care, and they always come, two of them. I have been a witness. They will come. You who call 911, you lock yourself up in your room with your child. The two police officers will come. The man is downstairs. The man tells a lie. Two of them stay there without checking on you. They supported the man against you. They are those kind of police officers as well. So we need to check out all of those things, and because when you see situations like that, you already know automatically the kind of police officer that he is. So we need to also pay attention to that. There's also cases where women are trying to implicate their husband. This woman didn't know that the husband was so tired and started recording everything because she was always lying. This woman turned the phone on recording and started crying. "Oh, don't hit me. Oh, leave me alone. Oh, he's hitting me again." They recorded everything and the husband took it in. So some of us women, we are also, and if you don't want the man anymore, there's always a better way to say, "No, let us end this." Even though sometimes it might not go well, but there's always a better way to do things. But the thing to hear is we need to always look for somebody to report, because the threats are too many. The threats are too many. If you dare report me, I will kill you. A lot of women, they stay in relationships.
Yes.
They say they will kill them, and they do kill them sometimes. We know that. We know that because if you're beating me up and I can't see, what are you doing? What if I just fall down and I die? And women most of the time don't know how to defend themselves because they are weak. And it is causing a lot of chaos, because when you do that, you're doing it to the children. The children are going to be the ones that will suffer. So yeah, but thank you. Those are I really love what you said there, and thank you guys so much. I love what all of you are contributing here, and together with One Global Movement, we will transform the lives of women and children and families around the world.
And Sister Manny, can I just say one more thing, please?
Yes, sure.
That I think is important. Canada and the U.S. Okay, same but not. Like my niece is a 911 operator in the U.S. and she has told me, like, a lot of times when she gets a call and it's domestic abuse, and she's been on a call where she can actually hear the husband beating the crap out of the woman, and she's trying to send officers there. And they're saying that well, there's no officers available at this moment, and that's sad, for one. And for two, if you call 911 today, it's really sad. If you call 911 today, you get put on hold. Right away, you're put on hold, and it's not because they're always busy. It's because since COVID, they are short-staffed, I believe. Okay, because they lost a lot of officers during COVID. So we, our police officers, we need more community police officers out there. We need police to be out there educating women and letting them know that there is a safe place, and men and children, that there is a safe place to go. I really believe that our police officers can do more and should do more to help anybody that is suffering in any type of violent relationship. They need to get out there in the community and get to know their community. You know what I mean? We need more community police. And I just want to say that we also need to educate, advocate, and support anybody that is suffering with this, because this is so sad. And like I said, it touches my heart, because even children will not talk out too. Like, children will go and, you know, somebody may call the police and the police officer will go and they'll talk to the children. And because the children is scared of their mom, saying like the wife might be scared of the husband, they're not going to tell the truth what's happened in their home. Because whatever, you know, you hear parents say, I brought you into this world, I can take you out.
Yep.
And that's kind of scary. Like my mom used to say that too. Don't get me wrong. But I knew she never meant it. And that, but there are some mothers out there and fathers out there that do mean it. Right. So we need to talk more about that in school so that children know that, you know, to go speak to their counselor, to go speak to somebody, like just like women and men need a safe place to go to, our children definitely need a safe place to go to, but they need to know that it's okay to talk to somebody about it, because they just, and the same with them. And in Canada here we have CSS, Children's Aid Society, and don't get me started. But anyways, they have failed many children to the point like they're overloaded. Okay, they have lots and lots of cases, and I understand that, and they have to go through lots of cases and that. But many kids, like, you know, get put back and given back to their parents, and then they end up dead. I remember a woman was babysitting a child and put the child in the oven and killed the child, cooked the child like a roast. You know, okay, I don't want to say no more. I'm sorry, because I know,
that is the reason why we have to build economic, I call it economic institutions, because somebody to put a child in the oven, that shows that that person has a big problem. That's not normal. And therefore, when we, like the authorities, the government, when we build programs that will treat these people, will rehabilitate them, and will give them jobs. But not just treating these people and sending them back into the community, because they're not going to be better. Because we need those kind, and that's why, you know, together we can build these institutions or build homes for women. Imagine somebody on the street who doesn't have anywhere to go, or who doesn't even have food to eat. How are they going to treat their wife or their husband, or treat their children? It's going to be the same thing. So action, economic action in particular, we need that here. And economic action is education. You can't feed a child without educating that child on how to feed themselves. You can't even just help a woman, just say, here, take this $5,000, they're going to come back to the same point. We want to do the kind of action that they will build on that and continue to build, because when you have that economic stability, then you have stability everywhere in your life. So I want to thank you.
I just want to say, because I don't want to get our channel in trouble, when they talked about CAS and that, I know that they have a job, and I know that they try their best, and I know that they get a heavy duty workload, and I know that they have lots of children that they're trying to help and to save, and they are trying their best. You know, unfortunately, sometimes, you know, things, you know, they can't always, like I said, children, you go talk to children, and it happens. Unfortunately, it just happens. I myself, when I was younger, I wanted to. That's what I wanted to do, because like I've always been the type of person to help people, but I realized that I could not do that job. I could not do that job for several reasons. One, I don't know, like, because I have a mouth and stuff like that, and I don't know, like I would protect the child and try to save the child, but I would not want to send the child back to the abuser. And I would want to make sure I take that abuser and ship him far away, so he would stay, or her away from the child. So I decided I would stay away from that. But together we can make a difference. Together, so let's us all get together and talk about this more and make a difference and make this world a better place for everyone.
Yes, thank you so much. The thing is that we're not pinpointing, we are giving examples. It is tough, whether in terms of staff, in terms of payment, in terms of, it depends on what is happening around the environment. People are doing their very best, but sometimes it can be one reason or the other that they cannot really function well. That's why we give this example. The police officers are doing their absolute best, and all the other institutions. And so when we stick together, we begin to do it, because it starts from home. it starts with us. We can do even better. So thank you guys so much for this
Thank you.
conversation today. Sister
Thank you,
Yvonne,
everybody.
a word of closing from you, and we call it the day. So thank you to everyone here. And
Happy birthday.
thank you.
Okay. I just want to close by saying I just maintain the fact that it's a very deep rooted stem cause because it comes from inequality, how we look at each other, the genders, right? And as Sister Sharon just said, almost all the social checks and balances and safety nets that we rely on, they're overloaded, maxed out. We need more people going into these kinds of situations. And of course, it has to be us, as Dr. Mundih say. We can't pass it off to anybody else because it will never get done. So we have to find our way of supporting as best we can. And what Sister Sharon said, work with where you are, when you see, don't overlook it, right? And sometimes a safe space is just what somebody needs, even to be emboldened to clear their head to say what they're going to do. Because when you're in that situation, you cannot think straight. You're fighting for your life.
Yeah.
So if you can get somewhere sane and quiet, you can say, not everybody will break out of it. We know that. Somebody will go back repeatedly. But some people, like the East Indian person that you mentioned, right away she knew that she wanted out of that situation and you were there for her. We have to do the same thing wherever we see it and not turn our blind eyes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll continue this conversation. It's going to overlap because it's for 2 weeks. Some of the things that we discussed today, we're going to hear about them again and again.
Yes.
Please, please, please invite families, men and women, our children, if they can, please. This is a conversation that is for the entire family. Whether you're old or you're young, it's for the entire family. And let us continue to spread this gospel of One Global Movement to all corners of the globe and to all families. Until tomorrow, we love you all.
We love you all. Bye. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you for your support. We love it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.